The Black Business Council says the empowerment of the previously disadvantaged remains a pipe dream despite numerous promises. The council's hosting black professionals, policymakers and industry players for the 2025 BBC Summit underway in Kempton Park, east of Johannesburg. Well, the summit is the first for the Government of National Unity and also taking place in the country's G20 presidency, and when there's a trade war and changes in political dynamics. SABC News economics reporter Nosipho is there and joins us live. Good afternoon. How have the discussions been going?
Juliet, to you and to the viewers at home. Transformation and economic inclusion has come under the spotlight once again here at the Black Business Council Summit underway in Kempton Park. We heard from politicians earlier during the day trading blame over the slow pace of transformation in South Africa. BEE also coming under the fire for the perceived sort of favouring of the elite as well as the politically connected, but also the unemployment rate in South Africa coming under the spotlight, the high unemployment rate in the country, and that in the context of the GDP data that was recently released, the poultry 0.1 expansion of the economy in the first quarter of this year. Well, to talk to me about the future of work in South Africa, I'm going to turn to my guest now, Taki Netshitenzhe, to talk to us about what that looks like. Taki, a very good day, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. So, during your panel discussion, we looked at the future of work in South Africa. We know that graduates, a large number of them, leaving school institutions and not being able to find work when they enter the economy.
Thank you very much, SABC and the viewers out there. So in Vodacom, we don't just talk about the future of work. We talk about the world as it is evolving around us and how we are experiencing it. We are a company that is pivoting, or has started pivoting from being a telco to becoming a techco. And that means that we have already started deploying in our own work environment these emerging digital technologies. You can call them artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, analytics. So we know the impact of deploying those technologies in order to improve efficiencies for our customers, in order to ensure that we find a balance between introducing these technologies and ensuring that our employees do not lose their jobs. But also we work with government to make sure that the introduction of these technologies do not leave the poorest behind.
You also spoke about the schooling system and how there are some that are being left behind when it comes to when it comes to the socioeconomic sort of division when it comes to schools. Talk to us about what's being done there or what needs to be done there at that level.
I think the point of departure is to say the introduction of these technologies is not going to replace human beings. These technologies should be seen as complementary tools to the human brain. And this is the message that we send to the young kids at schools when we go there. So what is required in South Africa is the transformation of the education system. We work mainly with quintile 1, 2, 3 schools, which are the poorest schools in South Africa with very poor infrastructure. And what we do there is to set up computer labs because we want to ensure that these kids have got digital skills, basic digital skills. But we are quite aware that you cannot introduce everything all at once. You must make sure that they settle to have the basic skills, but also don't leave the teachers behind. And once you have settled technology, or once you have settled the basic skills, then you must then introduce these now emerging digital technologies. And there are schools where we have started introducing coding and robotics. And what inspires me is when you talk to these young people and you ask them, what are you learning from using robotics? And what are you learning from getting involved in a course that teaches you coding? And they tell us very basic things, that they are learning to work as teams. They are learning to solve problems. They are learning to be patient. But they're also seeing a different horizon out there where they had thought they were just going to be medical doctors. Now they are looking at how they are going to be integrating robotics into their work.
There was also talk about entrepreneurship and how we should view that, the formal economy, not something we should look to when we think about creating jobs. Talk to us about, how that panned out in this panel discussion.
The reality is that not everyone can be employed. And therefore, we need to instill a culture of people becoming entrepreneurs. And as Vodacom, we have an institution that we have set up. We have actually put there 750 million rands as seed funding. It is called the Innovator Trust. And what they focus on is to promote entrepreneurship. So in one of our institutions, which is called the Vodacom ICT Youth Academy, where we work with Microsoft, Google, and Cisco, we produce our graduates, but we're finding that some of them are not getting jobs. And instead of just producing these graduates that are not getting jobs, we are putting them in Innovator Trust so that they learn to be entrepreneurs.
All right, Taki, thank you so much. We're going to leave it there. Taki Netshitenzhe there of Vodacom, talking to us about the future of work, the challenges that young people face, graduates going into the economy, and the skills that are needed then, but that obviously needing to start at a grassroots level when our children are still in school, that primary level education, that and also just looking then at changing the way we look at work. The formal economy, that one was highlighted as not something we should look to as creating employment, but rather entrepreneurship. It's back to you in studio, Juliet.
Thanks very much. That was SABC News economics reporter Nosipho Radebe reporting from the 2025 BBC Summit underway in Kempton Park.